So far, we've used password authentication from the local system to authenticate us over a secure shell. What's happened is we've put in a username and a password, and that username and password has been checked against the database in the Etsy Shadow and Etsy password files on the remote system. Well, there's different reasons why you may or may not want to do that. That's a secure way to do it, of course. But you also may want to use public key technology to log in using secure shell. And there are a couple of reasons why you may want to do this. First of all, because the keys trust each other. You may or may not necessarily have to have an account on the remote system. Another reason is you may want to use automated scripts that use secure shell, but you don't want to be there to log in with them. Now, you can generate a public and private key pair to do this, public key cryptography. And that's a little bit of a process, but it's actually not that hard. And then you can generate that key and then store it on the remote system that you're going to log into, the public key, and use that to authenticate to the remote system. So there's a couple of different steps to this that we'll talk about. First of all, you generate the key using SSH keygen, and you generate a public and private key. You also want to protect your private key using a passphrase, and you would protect that private key, but the public key you copy to the host and you add that to the authorized keys file. So it's a little bit of a process, but I'm going to take you through it and show you how it's done. Okay, we're in Computer B, and I'm going to go to a terminal shell, and the first thing we're going to do is generate a key pair, and that's actually easy to do. We run the SSH keygen program. Now, what it's going to do is it's going to prompt us for several things. First of all, it's going to prompt us for a file to save the key in. We can choose to change this file, or we can go ahead and leave it the way it is. That's fine. We can go ahead and overwrite that. Now, at this point, we can choose to enter a passphrase for our private key or not. If you don't, and that private key is compromised, someone gets a copy of it, then that private key and public key pair won't do you any good anymore. It's considered not secure. It's considered compromised. If you protect it with a passphrase, which I'm going to do, then no one can still use that private key without a passphrase. So you would enter it twice. This can be a passphrase of your choosing, of course. Now it says that your identification has been saved in the file name that we indicated. Your public key has been saved in the same directory as a .pub file, and it gives you the fingerprint right there. Okay, now how do we use this? Well, the next step is to copy this across the network to the other computer. And we kind of want to do this securely since we're talking public and private keys here. So at this point we could use SCP, and we could copy that file in there. So we're going to specify the copy of the public key file that we want, which is root/id_rsa.pub, and we're going to specify where we want it. We want it to go to computer A, and we're going to specify the IP address. You could put in the hostname too if you like. And we need to specify where that's going to go. So we're going to put it in the same directory on the other side. We're going to put it in the same place on this other side and call it the same file name. So let's go ahead and SCP that over. We're going to be prompted for our password, and it copied over. So now we have it on the other side. Okay. The next step is to add it to the authorized keys file so we can actually use it. So let's now that we've copied it over, let's do another secure shell over. And once we get over there, we can actually add this to where we need to add it. Let's see where we're at. We're in the root home directory. And if we do an ls, we're going to actually see a .ssh directory. So let's cd into that. And now that we're over there, we have the id_rsa.pub file in there. What we want is to add this to an authorized keys file. So that's actually very easy. We can do a cat so that we can get the contents of that file and add it to that authorized keys file. So let's cat id_rsa.pub, and let's send that to the authorized keys file. Now that's in the authorized keys file. Now what we need to do on and the next time we log in, we should get prompted to use that private key so that we can log in using the public-private key pair. Let's restart our secure shell daemon. And we've restarted it. And let's log out. And now we're on the other side. Let's restart the secure shell daemon on this side too. It may or may not be necessary to restart the services, but sometimes you want to do that so it'll reread the files. Okay, we restarted. Now let's open up another secure shell session with root at computer A. Now we're getting prompted with the passphrase. So that's different than the password we got prompted for before. That's so we can open up the private key. And now we're logged into computer A as root using public and private key. It's actually very easy. So there was a little bit of overhead in creating the key itself using the SSH keygen program, then copying the file over, adding it to the authorized keys file. So that's basically all you have to do. And that will get you logged in using a public key pair.